Sunnahfollowers, protectors of the Sunnah. Sunnahfollowers, protectors of the Sunnah.
Alhamdulillah, wa salam ala wa rasulullah. Welcome to another session of Sunnahfollowers Hadith class. And this is the Hadith class where we are discussing hadiths that relate and pertain to women in Islam. And today we have a very short hadith, and it's also a popular hadith that many of you women have heard of before. And unfortunately, it brings about a lot of bad feelings from a lot of women, and I don't understand why it would. And let's look at the hadith. This hadith is narrated by Talq bin Ali. He says that the Prophet ﷺ said that when a man calls his wife to fulfill his need, then she must go to him, even if she is cooking at the oven. Now, a lot of women, unfortunately, we Muslims today are weak in our faith. We look at hadiths like this as being oppressive when it's not. You know, Islam is a way of life based on justice. We've already spoken about the rights that women have over men. Well, just as women have rights over men, men has rights over us too. It's a check and balance system. Just like your husband is obligated to buy your food, pay your bills, provide you with a home, provide you with clothing. He's responsible for the children. He's responsible for all medical insurance and all of that. This is his right. Women don't have to work in Islam. Your husband, that is his job to provide, to maintain, and to protect his wife and children. And that's a heavy responsibility. But don't think that Allah is going to give you rights without also balancing it with rights for the man. Just like your husband has to go out and work and provide and maintain and deal with the fitna of that, the least you can do is respond to him when he is in need of your intimacy. That's nothing. That's nothing to do, because guess what? You walk away with pleasure as well. It's not just a one-sided pleasurement. It's two-sided. So I don't know why women today call themselves Muslims, but they look at this hadith and feel bad about it or angry. They feel like they're being oppressed. Maybe it's because of your background. I don't know. But we need to understand Allah gave more rights to men than he did to women. And just so you women understand, when you do refuse your husband, when you do refuse to give him that right, that's when he no longer is obligated to pay your mortgage for the month, or buy your food for the month, or buy your clothing, or pay your bills. It's a check and balance. You want your husband to keep you in that big, beautiful home, driving that big, beautiful car, you know, living with them beautiful clothing and foods and things, then this is the least you can do. Is to satisfy him when he is in need. So now that I've shared this hadith and its meaning, how does it impact you in your life? Would anyone like to comment? Are there any comments on it? It's basically a self-explanatory hadith. Sister Sabrina, are there any comments from you? If not, I'm going to close it out. Is Sabrina in here? Yeah, let me see. Go ahead, Sabrina.
You're right. It is, marriage is a check and balance. And listen to the second word closely, balance. You have to have that balance in any relationship or it's not going to work. Just like he is the maintainer and protector, the husband. Well, you have, and you have those rights. You have many rights, but he also too has rights. And that's the balance. You know, just like you want to be treated good, or you want to be treated with respect, he's supposed to respect you. That's part of the deen anyway. But it goes both ways. You know, the woman doesn't just come in the house or be in the house and say, well, I'm not going to clean up. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to cook. I'm not going to be with you when you want to be with me. But I do want some money to go to the mall. I want to do this. I want to do that. That's not balance. That's not a marriage, and it's definitely not Islam. So it goes both ways. The balance. There has to be a balance in any relationship, or it's not going to work.
And maybe that's why a lot of the marriages are not working, because number one, we've deviated away from practicing this religion the way the prophet instructed us to and exemplified it for us, you know, and then we're trying to adapt the Kafir belief system. Instead of us keeping the belief system of Allah, we want to be like the Kafir women. We want to be feminists. You know, we want to go out and be a truck driver. You know, we want to be a construction worker. You know, we want to go out and be engineers and build and forget about raising children and forget about taking care of the home. You know, when you adapt the lifestyle of the unbelievers, you become like them. And when you become like them, you also develop their problems. And so that's probably why the divorce rate is so high amongst Muslims, because instead of you trying to maintain the Sunnah, you're trying to be like the Kafirs. So welcome to the world of Kafirhood. Okay, are there any other comments? Go ahead, Precious.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, for the women who do have an issue with being called to the bed, they should just be more grateful and thankful their husband's not calling somebody else to bed, especially if he's fulfilling, you know, all his obligations. He's following the Sunnah to the best of his ability, and you ain't really got, you know, many complaints. You know, you should be grateful, because there's many women out here that would love a man to call them to bed. So
that's true.
You know, be
and
thankful.
Don't forget, he can go get 2, 3, or 4.
Exactly. So
you know, if you were taking care of your business, and maybe he wouldn't have to go looking for 2, 3, or 4. Maybe he wouldn't have to hang out in the club all night and all day chatting with a bunch of soft voice pretenders if you were doing your job. You know, it's easy to get a man. It's hard to keep them. And you women need to learn that. Y'all need to work on learning how to keep them. Yeah, any other comments? Okay, again, let's put the hadith up on the screen. This is a hadith that so many women today want to roll their eyes about. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, when a man calls his wife to fulfill his need, then she must go, even if she's at the stove cooking. Drop what you're doing and give him his desire. You want him to go to work in the morning. You want him to bring home that money to pay the bills, so you can keep driving that car, so you can have that internet, so you can, while he's sit around talking to men behind his back while he at work. You want all the luxuries of life, but you can't give him this one little need that will not only be a blessing for him, but for you too. Shame on you women. We need to get it together. All right, I want to thank everybody for joining and participating in this session of our Hadith class. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.